Looks good.
Okay. I see numbers moving.
It's all in the wrist.
It's all in the
Thanks,
rest.
John.
Good morning and welcome to the Wednesday, August 20th meeting of the Harwich Council on Aging Board of Directors. Welcome everyone. Call the meeting to order. And our first order of business, approving the minutes from the previous meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Did you get that, Lauren? Any discussion, changes, alterations to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is a vote. I wanted to take time, a little bit out of order, to introduce our new liaison for the Council on Aging and the rookie on the select board,
That's true.
our longtime town clerk, Anita Doucette. So please, if everyone would go around and introduce yourselves,
I think you know me.
doesn't matter.
Carol Thayer.
John Bethel.
Linda Roderick.
Jen Anderson.
Angie Chilaka.
Sheila House.
And Richard Wakestack. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I wanted to come this morning to just kind of introduce myself and just to tell the chair that if he needed anything that the select board could help with, that I was the liaison, and just to say good morning to everyone and just to make sure that you all know that I'm here for you if you need anything.
And the best role for a liaison is to hear nothing.
That's correct.
However, I know our director has been to the board. We've just gone through a very long study. And it's a needs assessment for the Council on Aging. And Julie has made requests to the board to do a presentation on that needs assessment. We had contracted with UMass Boston, who had done quite an extensive needs assessment. And we were very fortunate, unlike some of the studies that have been done in town, the participation of the seniors in our community who were involved in surveys was substantial. Far greater than I've ever seen any other survey done of this town. So we will be coming, and Julie, do you have a date yet for?
Yep, that was going to be on my
Yeah.
list of things to discuss.
And the only reason I say that early is because Anita's not gonna stay, she's got another meeting to attend.
Sure, of course.
But,
So we were able to finalize a date of September 2nd, because that's the week of Labor Day. That meeting is on a Tuesday that week. So it's Tuesday, September 2nd, will be an agenda item on that meeting.
so we'll be coming and doing the presentation of the needs assessment. We know how much work that the select board has. So it's not an hour-long presentation and then discussion. It's, here is the presentation, here are the results of the needs assessment. We as a board will be taking that forward, looking at some of the recommendations and how we can reasonably implement those changes here.
Sounds good.
So we hope you're there, and obviously we
Yes.
hope as many of the board can be there as possible. We'll have to post that as a meeting for that night in case all of us do come. The presentation will be made by the UMass group, the consulting group that we worked with, as well as Julie, and I'll be there to answer questions from the board.
Sounds good. I will be there.
Great. Anything else that we can discuss or you bring to the table, or?
No, I just came here basically this morning just to listen.
Great.
So this is good. It's good to see everyone.
Glad to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you being here. There is nobody here at the meeting this morning for those watching from the public, and we will move directly on to the director's report.
Great, thank you. Okay, our September-October newsletter has gone to print. We expect that people should receive it in their mailboxes well ahead of the 1st of the month, probably around the 25th of August, give or take. We have a very full slate of programming for the fall. September and October tend to be our busiest months. That's when we see the most attendance to our programs. So we try to take advantage of that and make sure we have a lot to offer people. I just want to call attention to one program that we're doing in September. We are going to be hosting a program that's organized by the Veterans Outreach Center, which some of you may know is that organization is headed up by Barbara Foley, who was the longtime COA director here. So they do a program, they call it My Little Black Book. And it's a program for veterans that is intended to give them the contacts and resources for all the agencies in the community that could be of help to them. So that's the Little Black Book part of it. You know, create your list of resources and agencies and people you can reach out to for various things. So it's a morning presentation, 9 a.m. to 11:30, and then it's followed by lunch. We're going to serve lunch here for those who come.
I'm sorry, Julie, date on that?
Oh, I'm sorry, September 24th, which is a Wednesday. Starts at 9, and it is a 2.5-hour program because it's a panel. So she has organized for the following folks to come. There's going to be our Cape Veterans Service agent, the Cape Cod Vet Center, someone from the Massachusetts National Cemetery in Bourne, someone from Cape Cod 5 to talk about what they can offer to veterans, and an attorney. And finally, the Cape and Islands Veterans Outreach Center is going to present on their own programs, what they can offer. So we're hoping people take advantage of this. It's open to spouses of veterans as well, because the resources are obviously relevant to them. Yeah, so hoping it's a good turnout.
It's a great program, and just brings up a point. I just want to go over briefly, because we have 3 different council on aging groups. We have a director in our staff, Lauren and Julie. We have the board of directors, and then we have a friends group, the Friends of the Harwich Council on Aging. They do some funding, like they funded the needs assessment for us. Mm-hmm. What I love about hearing that, and I want to be here for that veterans group, 2 reasons. Number one, as they talk about their black book, that's one of the things that the Friends, when they did their confab a couple of years ago, mm-hmm. talked about a central communication for all things seniors, as they're doing all things veterans. I think it's something that came up in our needs assessment that I'm very anxious to hear, because I know that's one of the things I'm going to be focusing on in the next year, a central location for everything senior, their families, and their advocates. Number 2, with that, we have tremendous number of our community that are assisted through a veterans benefit, a direct tax credit that they get. And that's one of those programs. John, sorry, no disrespect to us, but to be honest with you, many times it's the spouses who force the families to get into it. We've talked a number of times to the men, yeah, we'll do it. Go to a women's breakfast, which we have every month, a women's and a men's breakfast. The next day, the assessor's office is full, because the women and the wives have gone there to say, hey, tell me about this veterans benefit. If we can get $840 off our taxes, why aren't we getting it? So those are 2 great things for that particular program. And if anyone can be there, I think it'll be a great opportunity to get some information and give us the germ of an idea that we may be carrying forward in the next year. Great.
Thank you. Just a quick update that the select board has begun, well, as I think most people know, they've been undertaking the process to look for a new town administrator. So they've put together, a formal search committee, and one of the steps that they are taking is they've hired a consultant to talk with all of the town department heads to get our input as to what we would like to see in our next town administrator. So Megan, our assistant town administrator, organized those meetings for all of the department heads. I had that yesterday with the consultant. He used to be the town manager in Dennis. That's who the consultant is. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was a really nice outreach from the select board. On a similar note, we do have the interim town administrator appointed now, Tony Schiavi. We had a chance to meet him. All of the department heads met him last week at a staff meeting, and he is in the process of setting up one-to-one meetings with the department heads so that he can learn more about what we do, what our goals are in the immediate future, and how he can be of help. So if anyone has anything that you would definitely like me to bring to him, happy to take that feedback. Last update is we have the volunteer appreciation event for the fall planned. We had talked about this date a while back, so I just want to make sure it still works for everyone. As of right now, we're planning for Friday, October 17th. We're going to do a brunch again this year, so it's scheduled from 10 to 11:30. Rosa and I have already started working on that, making some plans, looking at decorations, talking about a menu. We thought it might be a nice touch to have some entertainment this year, so we're looking at someone who can play some background music.
You're not gonna be singing for us?
Oh, you don't want that. You definitely don't want that. So I think that would be a nice touch just to mix it up a little bit. Any comments on what you'd like to see there?
Talk to me after, I'll give you a couple names of good people.
Great.
Are we at the same location?
It's going to be here.
Oh, here.
Yeah, in the multipurpose room.
And as we remember, and for our select board liaison, the board has felt over the years, and somewhat become policy for us, to recognize our volunteers. The volunteers are the equivalent of 2 to 2.5 FTEs. In other words, full-time employees that we would need to have to produce the programs and services that we have. So the board has always felt that it's so important to recognize those volunteers. Volunteers are so important, as you know, you're on the interview committee, you interview people to serve on committees, how important it is for us to recognize the work of those volunteers, what they give. If you go into the office now, woman on the right-hand side, Janice is a volunteer, and she helps till the number of calls, because every time there's a program, there's a registration, which means people are calling in, the phone is constantly ringing. So I think it's great that we've done basically a fall and a spring recognition. The spring we do a volunteer of the year, but the fall is just, again, a get together for folks. It's a brunch to say thank you, and usually staff and the board shows up to just tell them how much they mean to what we do and to the work of the community.
Very good.
For the last several months, we've also been holding a volunteer social event every other month. So I think we started that in, I want to say February. So we've had a few now, and around 10 people have come to each one. It's just a nice opportunity to have coffee or tea together. They can talk about, what their role is, what they're doing. Everyone who comes has a different role, so I think it's been interesting for people to hear what some of the other responsibilities are that the volunteers have. It's been nice. I guess this falls under my report. In your packet, I have a copy of the transportation, well, I should say the first 2 pages of the transportation policy, which is the portion that we're looking at. So it's your document titled Transportation Policy. If you look on the back page of that, we started talking about that last week. So we offer volunteer rides to medical appointments. It's a very essential service that we offer. We ask the riders to give a donation to their driver. It's currently in the amount of between $5 and $15, depending on what town they go. And we're looking to increase that and just reorganize how we allocate those amounts. So first, at the top of that page, under the subheader there is volunteer medical rides. I have one proposed change. We've been going from Wellfleet to Hyannis. We occasionally, like a couple times a year, get a request to go to an eye clinic in Sandwich, as long as they're not having any kind of anesthesia there. We're willing to accommodate that as long as a driver is willing to take them. So I'd like to formally extend our coverage to Sandwich if folks are supportive of that.
Yeah, that's great.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, would that be like a round trip? Because a lot of these people I know are going in for cataract surgery and that sort of thing.
So it's, there are regular appointments, like a follow-up
Right.
appointment, and that would be a round trip. And we would be willing to drop someone off for a surgery that they were having as long as they had someone else available to pick them up. Which sometimes people do, you know, they are
Right.
in that position. Someone is willing to come get them, but, you know, that person doesn't want to wait for
Right,
the
I know,
length of
I've
time.
done several of these.
Julie, I want you to finish up your service. I'm gonna hold this down into old business because we did have a discussion. So I want to put it there, but I want to finish while Anita is still here. Operations and programs and volunteer needs. So she can see that. We'll pick this up when we get back into old business.
The only volunteer update I have for today is that we have completed the process of renewing the paperwork and inspections for our volunteer medical drivers. Town council wants us to do that every year, so we have completed that for this year. As far as our volunteer needs, we are looking for some new peer tech volunteers. So with this program, we pair a tech savvy volunteer with someone who has a specific question or need that they need some help walking through. So for example, you know, how do I get my email on my phone? How do I send a text message with a picture or download pictures, etc. So we pair them up, and it's been very successful, but we do need some more volunteers to help meet the demand for that.
At the last men's breakfast going out, two of the guys approached me and they told me how much they appreciated. You did that, the half-day program, I think it was, and at least it was for the iPhone. They were ecstatic over it. They just
it was very
loved it. And talking about the medical drivers, John is one of our medical drivers, and we've been looking, and one of the other guys also said, I just signed up to become a medical driver as well. Every month we publicize what the needs are for our volunteers, so we can try to attract them. John actually did a promo, one of the commercials for Channel 18, for the Harwich channel, and actually someone saw that and they volunteered.
Call the police.
It was good.
But those are some of the services that we provide that are so, so important, and to be able to continue that, we do need volunteers. And that's a bit of a process, isn't it, John? Tell Anita what you had to go through to get that.
Well, you do, there's a background check, insurance, your vehicle gets inspected. It's really not a heck of a lot of a burden. An email will come out with the needs, the list of the rides, and then you pair it up to your calendar and figure out whether or not you can do it. You get a lot of repeat rides, so you're very familiar with the people. Plus, it's sort of like a mini wellness check, where you get to talk to them for a little bit, and enrichment, things like that. You just kind of hear what's going on, and occasionally you might refer back to staff for a follow-up, but for the most part, it's anywhere between an hour for a quick one to 2.5 or so hours for a long one. But it's really not a hard thing to do at all.
So the town does, again, all the drivers are vetted, and they're tremendous in their volunteer hours in doing it. It also is one of our focuses is eliminating that social isolation that's out there for some of our seniors, and having that person to see, even if it's once every couple of weeks, it's important.
It is.
Julie?
That's all I have for you today.
Great. Any questions about
No?
programs, services, et cetera?
I'm just here to listen and learn right now.
Great, well, thank you. Let's get back to that policy on the medical rights. And we discussed it last month. I know the select board has a policy, they do a first and a second reading of a policy change before they enact it. We did discuss it last month, and we asked for some language on it. Is there any question about the language in green that you see that we may want to enact? Anybody?
Requested to provide cash donations. I'd rather see something like encouraged rather than requested, something a little less. I mean, people are, I know from asking for for donations, it's just, there's so many things out there, and just personal observation. I think,
The Friends are willing to pick up the cost if someone's not able to pay, and we let everybody know when they're booking the ride.
they do, okay, all right, as long as that's done. Yeah,
And I think you make a great point. And I think somewhere in the policy, we may want to have, and however we do this wording, and I'm looking for help, that cost can be waived.
yeah, I mean, it should be there somewhere.
Exactly, and then,
You know.
and if the Friends are gonna pick it up, again, we're talking minimum money, but for someone who's living on, $1,800 a month social security, a $5, $10, $20 donation, maybe something you just don't have.
Exactly.
So let's discuss that. Should we have something in there about the suggested donation may be waived?
Yes, yes.
Well, this
yeah.
policy will be seen by customers or staff and drivers?
It can be, yeah,
Okay.
and it is given to drivers.
Yeah, you probably should add some kind of small statement that, the fees can be waived if it's a burden or not available
Okay.
for someone to.
So,
To be very frank, a lot of the people who are utilizing this service,
Mhm.
they're not gonna look for a waiver. They're too
Yeah.
proud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how about donations can be waived in cases of hardship?
I hate that word because
Yeah.
if I'm a senior
yeah,
and saying, oh, so now I'm asking to be waived because people
Yeah.
think I'm a hardship.
right,
It's
Like a financial
the
assistance.
word you used was
is
suggested,
available.
encouraged.
Yeah.
encouraged.
I like that.
Yep.
yeah. I mean,
Riders are encouraged to provide cash donation directly to the drivers.
I always have a bunch of fives because they try to push more on you.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that, without using the word hardship in there, I think that the cash donation may be waived. Just leave it at that.
Okay.
Please tell me your input.
No, I agree. I think it should be listed there and just listed as cash donations appreciated and
It may be waived.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a simple without saying too much.
Right,
Jen?
No, I just threw out the word like financial assistance. Financial being available or something. I'm trying to think of other wording that's been
Yeah,
used either
like
in the
you said,
newsletter or
they're
other
very
policies.
proud and
Right.
they've
But-
attained a certain age, and to kind of acknowledge that they can't do it is difficult.
Absolutely. So, have we used other language in the past?
That's what I want to know that like there's other, I feel like there's other places that maybe that's been referenced to,
And I think
but
I just want to soften it.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah,
encouraged but not required?
yeah, I was gonna say encouraged if possible, or
I think,
let it,
I
leave
think
it up
the
to the
statement,
discretion.
I think a statement that says the cash donation can be waived is sufficient.
Yeah.
I wouldn't wanna, I don't think I'd wanna, use language about financial assistance, cause I don't wanna, take for granted that the funding from the Friends will always be there either. I mean, I think really it will be, but
Let's try this.
possible.
Riders are encouraged to provide cash donations, and then in parentheses, may be waived.
Okay.
is this the bullet that will go in the newsletter? Because I know that, I can't remember what's in that section
it-
regarding what,
It's a little short, and the newsletter's a little bit shorter because we can't quite fit, I think, the exact wording, but this is what it's based on, yes.
So it could be really simple. Riders are encouraged to provide cash donations, parentheses, may be waived, directly to the drivers to help defray fuel costs.
Okay,
That,
Yeah, that
Okay.
works.
great.
Yeah, it's a little less
intrusive,
strident.
yeah.
Yeah.
And no senior or family member wants to acknowledge that they're facing a hardship,
Right, yeah,
and they shouldn't have to.
right.
We all good? Okay, motion to approve that policy is as amended?
So moved.
well, I feel like we're missing the second part here. If we're gonna lock in a number, if we want to lock in a number to specific towns,
So you want to do the alternate?
or if we're
Jen?
just saying, or if we're not gonna try to put, like she has this, Juliet, right, the first line is just 15 to 20 depending on distance. There's an alternate suggestion of kind of geographically. Do we want something in there like that at all? But I just, I feel like a second
it's
part
fine.
we haven't talked about.
What would you like to see?
Well, I feel like if we're trying to not be it as, I guess, as locked in, but I feel like it's pretty vague. It's more vague to say 15 to 20 depending on distance because people, like you said,
Yeah.
might, whatever.
Actually, I like the
talking about
alternate.
Harwich. But, so
like
the
the
alternate, if we're gonna do anything, I feel like it's the
I
alternate.
think when you list the towns, it's a target, and it's a lot easier for people to understand
Great,
and
yeah.
to meet it when you actually have specific targets, where you say Harwich is $5. So
Yeah.
end of story.
That makes a lot of sense. Any other discussion on that? Are we good with the alternate phrase?
I just wanna confirm, is Hyannis, so is Julie, were you looking to do Hyannis as 20 and beyond?
15 to
Will it be-
Yarmouth, Barnstable, and Eastham.
Okay, so you're
Barnstable
You're
is Hyannis.
you're in Barnstable, okay.
And beyond, could also include that sandwich.
Yeah.
which is-
Yeah.
I'm saying Barnstable because I learned recently that the town is actually Barnstable and Hyannis
Yes,
is considered
yes.
a village of Barnstable.
Many villages in Barnstable.
Yeah, to be more inclusive, I just
A
saying, I know we
village.
used to say, it said that here, we had Hyannis before, so I just wanna make sure we were.
Yeah.
Just direction we were trying to.
Okay, so we're gonna change that first sentence, use the alternate language. The suggested donation is $5 for Harwich, $10 in adjacent towns, Chatham, Orleans, Brewster, Dennis, 15 to Yarmouth, Barnstable, and Eastham, and $20 beyond.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's a vote. Great. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for your input, everybody. Okay, needs assessment. We've got the date.
Date, which again is Tuesday, September 2nd. The meeting starts at 6. We will be an agenda item, so we will not present at 6, but they will get to us when it's time. I have included.
We'll ask our liaison to maybe get that pushed in the front of the agenda. Since, we have a liaison that we can make requests to. That might help, Julie.
I did want to talk about a possible date for the public presentation. So the other piece that UMass will do at the end in order to discuss findings with the community is they will also present the findings in a public forum. So we need to come up with a date for that. It sounds like they're pretty flexible. They want us to propose some times first, and then they'll let us know what works best for them.
And will that most likely be here in the multi?
Yes.
Yeah, we need the space. And that's something obviously we want it so that people can come. So we don't want a morning or an afternoon meeting. An evening meeting is most appropriate for people coming. Although, for our demographic, they may prefer something earlier in the day.
Right, this is true. I was gonna say that.
It's,
I think early evening might be a good balance. It should still be light enough for people to drive, those who don't drive in the darkness. And then, if we start maybe around 5:30, that should give most people a chance to get here after their work hours.
let's talk about that. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree with that. I think, if we could have some snacks and stuff if people are worried about dinner, but I think it's a good time. I think you're gonna get more people at 5:30 than later on.
I'm just wondering, is that early enough for the demo of the people who are going to get here?
Oh, okay.
And let's talk about it. Are we going to get the general townspeople? Are we going to get the folks who utilize the services of the Council on Aging? Who are we going to get? Last week, the local comprehensive plan on August 5th did a public hearing. I think it was 6:30. They had 20 people in the audience.
Yeah, that seems late.
And so when you look at that, is who we're going to get pretty strong publicity when it is prepared and presented to the select board. It'll be public, it'll be televised, people will see it. So when we go to the public, who do we want to present this to? The general public or those who use our services.
I think you're putting the information out there, but I think people who are gonna show up are gonna be the elderly, because they see it's directly affecting them.
Is there a possibility that 4 p.m. would be a better time for
I
them?
was thinking 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like 4 because it's before dinner. It's not evening. Seniors object to evenings.
And you know, we can be specific time-wise.
How does that conflict with any of the programming though that sometimes goes?
I think we would be able to get the room.
And we do 4 to 5 p.m.
Yeah.
time specific, so people know, yep, it's not gonna
Right.
interfere.
Yeah,
I'll
like
be
if
having
you
my
want
dinner at
to go out for a
5:30.
bite afterwards or something, it might encourage them to go out.
You just want to
know?
be able to, you know, I asked that question just because you want them to be able to park, so.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Jen?
I'm just thinking, I know we're getting support from UMass, right, to make this presentation? But do we have them do that in the more formal public night and we, staff or whatever, have a more casual presentation during the day to the COA members? So we're giving them the information during the day when they're kind of here, when they're active, but it's more of a informal discussion and presentation, and then they can always see the nighttime tape or something.
Well, we're
If we
gonna
wanted to
get-
hit like the work, more of the people who are working till 5.
That's why I
5:30.
think moving it earlier, because you're gonna see the people who are probably more familiar, who utilize the services and programs already. And again, we'll have already done a public presentation to the select board. Now, that's gonna be a more condensed presentation. And we've already seen it. You know, we, as a board, have seen that presentation from UMass already. Now, it's again, public to select board, which will be condensed because there's only a certain amount of time that we have before select board to do it. We don't have an hour. You know, we're looking at, we talked about a 20-minute type presentation with time for questions from the board. Here, to those who are utilizing our services and our programs, we want it a little bit longer to get into more of the detail of that. And I think that's why a good compromise like is 4. If people were here during the day utilizing the programs and the services, they might stick around for it. And the general public who may not have the ability to get here at 4 can always see the tape of the program. Because I think that opportunity will be at the select board meeting. Because that agenda is published usually 3 to 4 days ahead of time, so people will see it. And we can put a plug in, you know, with the Harwich channel to do it as a plug that we'll be presenting the needs assessment at the select board meeting of September 2nd.
Yeah, I was just wondering,
Sure.
you know, if the UMass people are to come down, let's say at the 4 o'clock presentation for our seniors, can they make it a little bit more, I'm gonna call it user-friendly? I noticed when they made their presentation to us, it was cut and dry data. I'm just saying, if you're sitting there as a senior for an hour and a half, I don't know how to
Well,
properly.
that's why I was
I don't know
saying
how
that
to
kind of
properly
more
word
like
it, so they're more,
a casual level from
yes,
staff or whatever
yeah,
on another.
so that they can relate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had said that for their public forums, they do present a more streamlined version of their presentation. So we got the details, like the really
Yeah.
nitty-gritty details. But yeah, they tend to simplify things when they're
Yeah.
presenting to the public.
I'm just saying, sometimes, you know, people need to feel comfortable and that they can relate to what's really going on, as opposed to, okay, this is the data, bang, 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 yeah.
And I think, Angie, you make a great point, and obviously we'll post for a meeting that day so we can have as many board members as possible. We'll MC it ourselves.
Okay,
So that, you know, we know what our seniors are gonna be looking for. And then I think that one of the biggest, opportunities
yeah,
for our members is to say, I've got a question before you go on.
Yeah.
Because you're right, data can be tough to just.
right, just
You
listen
can
to.
overload, and it can get boring. But I think if we're allowing people to say, well, wait a minute, about that, I have a question.
Yeah,
Because a lot of times people will not wait till the end to write their question down to ask it, but as it hits them,
right,
it's like, well, what about this? So I think that we can MC with UMass.
yeah,
You know, we know the locals,
yeah,
we know our members and how we handle it. So I think it's a great point of how do we sort of make it a casual discussion presenting the information, and I think the things that we're not gonna do, we've discussed this now a couple of times, of not getting into the recommendations and what we're gonna do with those recommendations, because we don't know yet. But it's providing the information of what the study has found, where those needs are, based on the input from all these people already. Because the people who are gonna come may be the same people who filled out those surveys.
Right.
Or who were part of a focus group.
Right.
So I think a 4 o'clock, do it casually 4 to 5, address questions as they come up during the presentation, and just prep the UMass people. And they were pretty reasonable when they did the presentation. We were just sitting there sort of
No,
politely, yeah.
you can tell they're knowledgeable and they're efficient, but
Yeah.
it's business.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
it's-
think that also they were presenting, this audience was like people that already knew, what they were kind of be hearing, because we've been going over it all, right? So I'm sure that they are used to, when they actually present it to the folks, to our audience, that they are gonna go, any questions, they're not gonna just, plow through the day.
And I think your point, Sheila, of providing afternoon tea and snacks with it, it was a great opportunity, and have them come in at 3:30 or so and just get a seat and get the snack and then do the presentation. Are you comfortable with that?
Yeah, definitely.
How
Do you want to
feel?
look at some dates?
Yeah,
Sure. So we're doing the first one, select board September 2nd, and we're gonna do it sometime after that.
Right. I think Tuesdays tend to be a good day. Certainly not locked into that, but if there are any Tuesdays that are definitely open for a few of you, I'd like to include that as a possibility.
How's the 23rd?
I can't do that one, but that's okay. As many of us as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, what month are we talking?
September.
September. Only September I'm available for Tuesday is the 23rd right now.
Okay. And what about some other days of the week?
I'm free,
What about Thursday, the 25th?
Okay. Richard?
I can do that.
Anything the week of the 15th that's open for folks? Maybe the Wednesday of that week, so that we can offer them a Wednesday time. Oh, that's the day,
We have
that's
our
our,
meeting.
that's
I
our
was
board
gonna
meeting,
say,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah,
You know, what we could do is, if it could work for people, is do our meeting at 3. And then go in after that.
Have another meeting.
What date?
September
it would be the
17th.
17th.
Yeah, I can't.
Actually, no, yeah, no,
I was gonna
let's
say-
keep our date.
We can't,
We
yeah.
can't do that.
I think the
It's
18th
fun too.
and the 23rd right now look like contenders. Can everyone check your calendars?
Okay,
So what date now?
18th and
18th.
23rd, 2 days.
Can't do either, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right for me.
Busy one. Good for you. Folks, any other input on that? Jen? Angie?
18th is good.
okay, 18th is good.
Okay. All right, I will offer them a couple dates, see what they say.
It seems like 18th seems to be the best to focus if possible. And they will be present for that? Or will be Zoom?
They will be present for that.
Excellent. That makes a whole lot of difference.
I did give you guys a copy of the slides that they have revised for the select board meeting. I didn't think we were gonna go over these in detail today. I just wanted you to have them. You could take them home, look at them, send me some feedback by email.
That's fine. Great. Just, we looked at this presentation already, and catering to the select board, it's not like we're pulling information out, but there's so much data. If a slide were going on screen, there's no way you could read it. So we tried just to simplify the same information, but bulleted, so that if you're reading it like on your monitor in front,
Right.
you could read it. Otherwise, we're not holding anything back from it. The one thing that we had discussed.
Doing just real important bullet points.
Exactly.
That
You know,
makes all sense.
It's, you know, when we look at it, you can read that. You
Right.
couldn't read some of the other ones that we had. And the reason we're holding off on some of the recommendations is there are a lot of them, and we haven't really taken the time to go through and start working on those recommendations. What are feasible? What can we afford to do without getting into major enhancement of services? Because it all ties into budget, one way or another. So, good. All right, is there anything else on that? Okay. The next, the Facilities Committee Representative. We did vote that 2 months ago. We voted Sheila as our representative to the Facilities Committee. And I don't think at this time there's any movement to reconsider. So you will be attending, representing us? Yes. Okay, thank you. New business, couple things. Is there any input we as a committee want to make towards the town administrator search?
What do you
Are
say?
they
The
asking other
qualifications
board-
you're
are they
asking
asking
for?
They're
other board?
gone to the department heads, and I know we, as on the Charter Commission as well, we're sending that out as well for looking for comments for the charter. But for town administrator, is there anything we as a committee are looking at for the attributes of someone we want to see who's hired as the next town administrator for this community? Sure.
I would say, well, someone who actually knows his or her job. I mean, they have to have those skills. But I think the other thing is the ability to work with a wide diversity of people. And be able to reach out, not just to the town department heads and things, but to reach out throughout the whole town. And it would be nice if the individual actually got out and mixed with people in town. It's really nice when you see people, you know, get out of the ivory offices and mix with people and find out what's really going on in their neighborhoods or their communities or their, you know, whatever, so that they actually get to know the people. It'd be great if he could live in town too. He or she could live in town, but you can't force that.
It's the age old, sometimes they can't afford to live here.
Yeah, I
That's,
know.
that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
That's a great point, and that's, I think, you know, when you meet again with Tony Schiavi, that, you know, you bring that back. Anyone else?
No, so what?
I was going to say some of the things that
accessibility.
Angie's already said.
Yeah.
Be able to interlock with different committees,
The,
even have a, open to the public.
Traditionally,
Yeah.
when town administrators are hired, at least on the Cape, 'cause I can only speak for the Cape, their strengths are finance, public safety, health department, the whole wastewater thing, So I'd like Angie would like to see someone who can also reach out to the more human services types of things, the library, COA, the rec, and maybe even encourage their ATA to, be their point person or whatever. But I don't know how that's done, but yeah.
the consultant met with the select board 2 weeks ago, and he asked that same question of every member of the board. Communication was number one. And I know that if, as a committee member, I have a hierarchy, as does the department head. The hierarchy is, she's accountable to the ATA, is then accountable to the TA, and then to the select board. So for a director or a department head to say, well, I want to get something to select board, they frankly cannot go directly to the select board. We have a liaison. If I have something that is urgent that I want to, I will reach out to my liaison to get it back to the select board. And it's, with the TA, one of the things in communication I think is so terribly important. If I, as a taxpayer, had something happening in my neighborhood and I wanted to get access, yes, you could call a select board member if you knew one, but to have either an email or a phone that said, I'm calling the town administrator's office. And if I'm getting an email, there's a level of expectation of when am I going to get a response? So I don't care. And one of the things I think is so important, and if I ever have a chance to ask a TA applicant, I will ask this. Create an email auto-respond. So if I send you an email to Julie's the town administrator, to Julie Witt as town administrator of town of Harwich, I want a response back saying, thank you, I've received your email. You should expect a response within 48 hours. I think that's a minimum. And And I think that's communication. And in that 48 hours, I expect a response. And I don't care if it's the ATA who's handling the situation, but I want access. And again, I don't hire them except as a taxpayer. You know, the TA is accountable to the select board. But you don't want to have to circumvent to say, well, I'm gonna call my friend Anita, who's, you know, a select board member, say, hey, Anita, I've tried to reach out to the town administrator 4 times to no avail, what do I gotta do? And then waits another week till she goes back to a select board meeting and brings it up in her report saying, hey, you know, you've got taxpayers who are trying to reach out to you and, you know, it's been 2 weeks. There's no immediacy of communication. And I think that's a great point for whoever gets in there. What is the expectation
Right.
of communication?
Well, and I totally agree with you, that's necessary, but I'm gonna use Anita because she's here in the room and I can honestly say this positively. She made herself available through all her years of working where she was respectful and kind to everyone. Didn't mean she agreed with everybody, but she had that ability to reach out, and that's an important point. In the new person that comes on board, I think that's a skill he or she needs to have. You know, beside being answering back within 48 hours, that's an important thing.
Respectful of everyone in town.
Yeah.
Well, that's an important
Yes.
trait. That
Yes.
it doesn't mean you always have to agree on everything, because we all have our different backgrounds and different things. But
Right.
we should be able to speak to somebody, get an intelligent answer back. You know,
I think that's part of like the building relationship portion of it. You know, this person becoming more visual at more sites than just town hall.
right?
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
doing more outreach. You know, being in this building more, being in the other facilities more. There's more than just town hall. I was in this building before with a staff shirt on. The last guy walked right by me. I've never met him.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of like
Yeah.
you got to interact with
Yeah.
everybody
So
in every facility that you
Right.
have.
that's really important, and our liaison has to leave, but would you take back, and Julie, would you take back this information in your reporting to that, the acting of the interim town administrator, that's the term I guess is we're using as interim, but would you also bring that back in your report to the select board, what a committee is looking at for the next person?
I think it's very important, I hope you don't mind if I speak, but I'm hearing that I think the boards that fall under a director in the department, that meeting like this and letting the board have an input into the director can also bring it to the TA acting interim, you know, what your board also expects. And I think that's very valuable. I think they need to hear this from everyone, and I'll be more than happy to convey your wishes.
Great.
So thank you very much today for
Thanks,
having me.
Anita.
I have another meeting though that I have to be at 11.
Thank you.
Very good.
Have
Thank
fun.
you very
Thank
much. Oh, I do, you know, I love it. Good to see you too,
Thank
dear.
you.
2 other things I'll bring up. One, Julie, this isn't operational. Can we start getting both agenda and the minutes of the previous meeting mailed to us ahead of time?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
You know, whether, you know, 3 days, 4 days, so we come more prepared. You know, it's tough when you get the minutes and look at them quickly and say, do we have any changes to that?
Yeah.
So that would be important.
Would it be like an attachment on an email?
Correct. You know, so
Okay.
2 things, with the agenda of the next meeting and the minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay.
And then if there's an opportunity, for instance, if there's something like the set of slides, we can get those ahead of time. So it will allow us to spend less actual meeting time reviewing it, and we can come prepared for the meeting. Okay. It's come up also, a question of times of our meetings, of potentially doing at another time for those who are still working. As we look, many of the committees meet at various times, so it allows people who are currently working to be able to sit on a committee. 10 o'clock, if you're working full-time, is a tough time to be able to get to a meeting, because you're leaving work. I'm still working full-time. And I can do it, but for others, as we look to replace people on the committee, you know, is there another time? And so I just want to throw that out for discussion, let's maybe think about it for our next meeting. You know, is there a time that we could do it that could encourage some others? I think it's important that we get diversity of opinions and demographics sitting on a committee. And that's for every committee in town.
So the meeting would have to be sometime between 8 and 3 or 8 and 4.
Or after. No, well, no, there are times that, I know I'm doing charter commission right now, and that's at 6:30 at night, and we go to a meeting room, all we do is we come in and we push the button.
Oh, okay.
So we don't need to have someone here to do it. I know rec that meets in this building, theirs is at 5:30. So people who are working, they can come in from work. Sometimes, in fact, a lot of them come in directly from work, to sit at a meeting. I think at times we forget there are others in town who may want to serve, but can't. Someone, if you're working for the town, for instance, if you're working in maintenance somewhere, you're out mowing lawns right now, you can't get to a meeting in town. We've had that difficulty with our public safety. They're working full-time and they can't every month schedule a certain time to get in here. So just a thought, we'll agenda it for next meeting as a discussion time and bring it back. All right. Member comments? Sheila?
So in January, Behavioral Health Innovators, which runs programs for teens, is going to do presentations at the women's breakfast and the men's breakfast, which Julie set up. And these are great programs that help kids that are severely challenged with mental health and or substance use issues, and also a alternative to school suspension program. And they've just been growing and taking off, and I thought it was a good audience because a lot of folks are worried about their grandkids and or the children, grandchildren of friends of theirs, and just the more we can spread it in all the communities, the better. So Stephanie Gilrain and I will be doing that.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Angie?
No, good. I'm happy.
Jen?
I know at one point a few months back, there was some talk about all of the committees in this building meeting. And, because we're all trying to operate out of here and do our thing. And I didn't know where that
Oh, right.
I don't know, where's that?
It was trying to get a date and a time that everyone could meet, and it's not off the table. I think it's still an important thing to do, because as we talk about, and now having a representative back to facilities, anything we do, as you know, COA doesn't have their own space. Rec doesn't have technically their own space. So anything that gets scheduled in this building has to go through basically facilities to get it done. And I think it's hugely important for the communication pyramid to move all ways, up and down and sideways. So I would love to get it back again if you would bring to the next meeting of facilities, trying to find a date that all three committees can meet. We can't meet in here, obviously. We'd have to meet in there or one of the other spaces here to have a joint meeting, to talk about what's working, what's not working, and how can we work better.
I'll email all of them and ask them just to throw me back some dates.
Sure,
So that I can
that'd be great. And if you could coordinate with Julie to see.
Miss Julie.
Yeah, to time. All right, great. Thank you. Anything else, Jen? Linda?
I'm fine, thank you.
Just wanted to mention my last couple of medical drives. The people are so happy that the program exists. And so it's a tremendous success.
We need to do another commercial.
It's your sparkling personality.
Gonna share that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Good Lord.
Lost my seat. Lauren, anything?
Karma.
Carol?
No, all set.
Julie, anything final?
Nothing else.
I
Thank
will
you.
most certainly entertain a motion to adjourn.
So motion.
Moved, seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Clean up the table. Thank you.